Okay, we need to have a discussion. I came out of my blanket because it's freezing here, because this is a very serious discussion that need to be had here, since we just found out very recently that one of the original people involved in not only Phantasy Star but also Phantasy Star Online is, well, being arrested and investigating right now for doing some illegal shit when it comes to, well, insider trading. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and break down everything that is happening here for the individual, and also get you guys up to date on everything that is going on from someone very important to, of course, a Phantasy Star as a whole. But before we hop into all that, and I can cuddle back under my blanket here, welcome back to your #1 stop for PSO2 New Genesis gameplay, how-tos, and all that jazz. And I get we control legal issues on top of that pile as well. But before we hop into all of this, a big thank you once again to everybody that is supporting over here on memberships for YouTube, Patreon, or subscribing over on Twitch. Thank you, my dude, for that month. But we will go more on that in a bit, because yeah, this is not the best story for obvious reason. So let's talk about it. So Yuji Naka, this is a name that probably most of you know who he is. I say worked on a PSO, worked on original Phantasy Star, but you know, most people know him as, of course, one of the cradle of Sonic the Hedgehog here, and of course, you know, as of last couple years, I get technically Ballad Underworld as well, since that was a thing, and I get Knight. We can't forget about Knights. Well, kind of in hot water right now, since we did have a breaking news earlier today, thanks to a fan.jp, we got some information about a little issue. So, of course, what is going on? And, of course, you might be wondering, if you look at the headline, what exactly did it got to do with Dragon Quest and, well, I also insider trading? So, it all starts with a little game called Dragon Quest Cat. So this was a mobile game that came out a few years ago from Square Enix, and of course Yuji Naka was a part of Square Enix at the time when it was happening, since he was, of course, working on Ballad Underworld. And, you know, we got some information on that as well that tied back into the whole picture, which was involving, of course, the lawsuit he was originally having with Square Enix, since he did get removed 6 months before, of course, Ballad ended up coming out. Also, I didn't realize it actually Ballad Wonderworld, not Ballad Underworld. I don't know. Maybe I'm just needing some werewolf in my life. Maybe I'm just having Sonic werewolf withdrawal. I do not know.
Who are you?
But nonetheless, let's just continue with the story. So with his removal from the project 6 months earlier, and as you can see from the tweet he ended up posting, he was in like a legal dispute with, of course, Square Enix. And now we have a little bit more insight to the possibility of, of course, his letting go or fire might been a little more deeper than just tied to the argument they was originally having. Because thank you, fan, for breaking that information. We now know roughly, if you look at the time here, that of course during his employment at Square Enix kind of lines up pretty perfectly into some of the stuff that is happening right now. And of course, this is tied to Square Enix as a whole, since recently Square Enix have got involved into some investigation of course, some employee doing some inside trading here. And as you probably know, inside trading is not a good idea. And of course, we're being tied to, of course, the Dragon Quest game with, of course, Yuji Naka. Allegedly, as announced, since he in the process of being investigated, ended up before the release of Dragon Quest TAC, ended up putting a 2.8 million yen, or roughly about 20,000, as you can see here, into, of course, some stock for Square Enix, and of course ended up buying roughly about 10,000 shells. So, as you can imagine, a Dragon Quest game get announced, a Dragon Quest Giant, and of course Dragon Quest were going to move some needles, at least in Japan at the time, and in return, look very, very bad after like doing the investment right before the announcement of this. But the main way that all originally got started is of course by the investigation that had happening with the other two individuals who was involved in this. Being time, I have no idea how to pronounce their name, so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to our wonderful to Peach to maybe pronounce it semi-closer than me.
Daisuke Sasaki and Fumiaki Suzuki.
There we go. They're the names. And of course, the individual did in return, actually at the moment, was arrested because of this, with them, of course, putting in 47 million yen, which is roughly about $336,300 into a court, doubling the money from inside trading, because who gets it? That's what inside trading is. Put your money in and double it, and then hopefully get away with it. And of course, the two individuals obviously did not get away with it, as you can imagine. So at the moment anyway, it looked like, of course, I think to D2 being arrested, Yuji Naka and kind of slowly getting poured into this. And as you can see here, Lit Plot have got a whole lot thicker here. And of course, if this ends up being, of course, accurate when it comes to Yuji Naka himself, and also depending on what that originally tied to with that original lawsuit for his termination, they could start looking pretty bad for all, well, someone of such great importance to Sega and Fantasy Star and Sonic and Dreams and, you know, well, everything else that man have been creating for the last however many decades at that point, longer than I've been alive, I can go ahead and say that. So as you can see, this is a very big deal, and I guess I will try to keep you guys up to date with what will end up happening with it. We obviously, with allegedly doing it and being investigated, only a time will tell what's going to come of this, and will this actually affect Hikwill at all, if not a fully on arrested heel. But nonetheless, this is a very unfortunate thing that happening here, because if it would nowhere near the same amount as the other two people involved, it's still probably looking at what? Maybe an extra 50, 100K, maybe more, give or take. So obviously, this is something that could cause some real issues for Yuji Naka, and of course, any future project tied with him, and what to come next. But once again, if you want to keep up with all the information and what is happening, I will try my best. And of course, with him being so intertwined into a PSO of yesteryear, I thought it would work bringing it to all your attentions. So, if you have found that video, I guess I got nothing. If you liked the video, make sure you do the thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the bells, and of course, if you want to be like all the wonderful folks here, be sure to, of course, check out the membership below by hitting that wonderful join button, or by coming on over to patreon.com/Maconn, or, you can also come over to Twitch and subscribe, since I do live streams pretty much Saturday through a Wednesday over there, starting around 7:15 p.m. Central, as long as I'm not in my blanket and sleeping, because also I have a zombie problem. So, but for the most part, I'm live over there. So, links in the description below for all that, and I get with that, I will see you all in the comments. And also, I'm going back on my blanket. It's way too cold for that. Bye!